You know, I got to give credit, man, to not just Jets fans, man, because like we've been through it. We've been through a lot. I got to give credit to every content creator I've ever watched. I mean, the Tysons of the world, the Green Beans, Matt O'Leary, Jet Central, freaking Buffalo, freaking Ryan, like you guys, Jake Asman, like you guys, man. I don't know how you've done this for so long the way you have. To be able to go ahead and see what we just witnessed, literally for the last like 4 weeks, and still get in front of a camera and talk about this team and try to engage with the fan base. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man, if not for you guys, I don't know where my state of mind would be right now. But um I realized that y'all don't necessarily do it sometimes for the New York Jets. You don't do it for that. You do it for the therapy it brings the fan base, the ability for us to kind of gather and pretty much vent and just kind of go ahead and feed off of, you know what I'm saying, how we're all feeling. And yeah, I gotta admit, man, you guys are a different breed. I know out here in Houston, Texas, I've tuned into your content for years, you know what I'm saying, trying to go ahead and understand how or why. How is this happening to us yet again? And I guess now it's just, I got to go ahead and get on the horse. This is rough, man. This is a rough episode of the Hangar Hangout because I had the pleasure of going out to Pittsburgh and knocking off a studio off my bucket list. Not a studio, a stadium off my bucket list. Got a chance to go ahead and go to Heinz Field. I know it's called Acrisure or whatever it's called now, but to me, it's always going to be Heinz Field. And I was really expecting, man, the New York Jets to show up in a situation where backs are against the wall. Like it matters. You need to go ahead and get this dub. I thought, you know what? They're gonna come. They're gonna come through. We've got Aaron Rodgers. The offenses look better ever since freaking Downing took over. Like it can only go up from here, right? The first week was a bit of a freaking trial run. Now we're in week two. Devontae Adams is in the building. It all seemed like it was telling us that we were going in the right direction, and instead, the New York Jets get their ass kicked, 37-15. 36-15. I don't know, whatever bloody score line it was embarrassing. And I got to sit pretty much front row and experience it all. So it's episode 29 of the Hangar Hangout. I appreciate y'all for joining it. We're gonna talk to New York Jets, man. I don't know if Rodgers is washed. I don't know if we overestimated this team. I don't know if myself, other content creators, Jets fans, even sports professionals, analysts who looked at this roster and thought, man, these dudes are gonna do damage. I don't know if we're all just insane, if we don't know what we're talking about, but I mean, I guess we're just gonna talk about it, man. Ah, man, let's get the show kicked off.
I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man.
Congratulations, brother. Hey.
And here we go.
Yeah, so week 7, Jets are 2-5. I think if your thought process is that this team is cooked, it's hard not to agree with you. It's hard to not see where you're coming from. Um, I don't know how, and you know what, Cho says it beautifully here, man. I just don't know how to be objective when I look at this team. I don't know how to be hopeful It's just there was a level of expectation this year with this team. And what's crazy is I chop it up with a couple of Fins guys, Dolphins fans all the time, and we were on Twitter. Both of us is going back and forth, just talking about how this season just hits different. It hits different because there was. It's not just that we were hopeful, right? And I think as fans, it is our job as fans to go ahead and be, in essence, fanatics, to just look at our team and be fans of this team, and with unlimited zeal, believe in their expectations and in their ability. I think this season hurts as much as it does right now because I think we genuinely believed, like the expectations, as we put it, matched the hope, right? It wasn't just we hope for this team to go ahead and be great. You know what I'm saying? Like the expectations aligned with the hope because you looked at the roster. We were hearing all the positivity about, like, man, how this is one of the best rosters in the NFL. At one point, they were literally considered one or two best rosters in the league. We're not expecting Aaron Rodgers to go ahead and be MVP level Aaron Rodgers, but we thought as Jets fans we were going to get a guy that was at least similar to the guy we saw the last year in Green Bay. And somehow in our minds, we convinced ourselves to believe that we were one piece away. We've got a better running back room. We've got a better wide receiver room. We've improved the offensive line. We got weaker, if anything, on the defensive line, right? But somehow, some way, we have the leader in sacks right now on our defensive line. And we're worse. The team is worse. I don't understand it. We're 2-5. This time last year we were 4-3 with a harder schedule. And worse players all around, worse quarterbacks, worse offensive line, worse play calling. It's crazy to be in this state right now that I'm looking at this team that before the season started, again, the hope matched the expectations. The expectations matched the hope, and we didn't get that. We didn't get that. We're on a 4-game losing streak. Jets are on a 4-game losing streak. They lose to the Denver Broncos. And I think the most frustrating part about that is they, again, really just did it to themselves early on. And if y'all don't know, I got a chance to actually go out to Pittsburgh. And again, I got to go ahead and meet a couple of awesome individuals while I was out there. Unfortunately, Dan Murphy, I didn't see you, which is kind of upsetting. And I didn't see JJ. He was supposed to be out there too, but I guess we kind of missed each other. But I did, you know what I'm saying, get to meet, an awesome cat in this guy. So while I was out there, I got to at least get a chance to go ahead and see Dano. I'm not sure what's going on now. Dano, he was out there, doing his thing. So we got a chance to go ahead and chop it up. His lady did a really good job at capturing us as we were having the conversation. So that was fun. That was a highlight of my trip going to Pittsburgh this weekend, right? Getting to meet Dano, a fellow Jets fanatic who gets out here and gets in front of the camera and chops it up with you guys. And the reason being is, well, you guys saw that game. Like, you know what? Hold on. I got something for y'all. In a nutshell, this was this was my trip to Pittsburgh this weekend. It started off so well. Like, it really started off so well. I was sitting there. My brother-in-law was sitting next to me. I was laughing. I felt good. I had talked to him earlier that day about how Jets fans specifically were more fearful of Justin Fields being out there because of his mobile capabilities, but that they brought in Russ out there. I felt great about it. And started off great. Russell Wilson, started off looking like a bum. Jets defense was cooking. The offense was literally moving down the field. Listen, I'll say this. If you take nothing good away from this game, the offense has looked significantly better in terms of the play calling. I think execution now needs to go ahead and take a step. But, the play calling aspect in terms of what Darnold's been able to do, it's night and day from what we've been experiencing as Jets fans for quite some time. Levels of creativity. There were individuals getting open. Aaron Rodgers just didn't look like Aaron Rodgers after literally the first quarter and a half. In fact, Aaron Rodgers didn't look like Aaron Rodgers after he threw that first interception, which he should have never thrown to begin with. Nevertheless, he did it. And from there, it kind of went bad. But, the start of that game was great. It was awesome. I really thought the Jets were going to go ahead and continue forward. We were up 15-3 or 6. I thought we were going to go ahead and take that last drive before the half down the field, get a field goal or maybe score, come back in the second half, get the ball, and then get the run. At that point, it was going to be, in my opinion, out of reach because let's be honest, it's the Steelers. They're not really known for their offensive prowess. You know what I'm saying? Defensive team. Offensive line did a great job at keeping TJ Watt in check, which was one of the biggest fears I had again on the defensive side of the football. Like, they did a great job keeping TJ Watt in check. They did a great job in the beginning, freaking making Justin Fields look like Justin Fields. And then the second half comes around. And Justin Fields proceeds to just make these ridiculous throws. And mind you, they were not the most accurate throws. I was there. Those throws looked like crap. The only beautiful throw he actually made, in my opinion, was the one to Fryermuth. That went for about 40 plus. That was probably the most accurate and most beautiful throw he had the entire night. The rest of the time, throwing up to George Pickens, it was just Pickens making circus catches. Russell Wilson was not good that game. He wasn't. But he cooked enough to where he beat the Jets to the tune of 36 to freaking 15. And I'm sitting here on the walk of shame back from the studio back to the hotel with my brothers, of course, talking shit as they should, deservingly so, right? Like they're winning. It's nice to win. It's great to be the fan of a freaking, as I would call it, a successful franchise, a franchise that actually loves their fans back. At this point, I'm starting to believe that maybe the Jets just don't love us as much as we love them. I'm starting to feel that might be the reason why we constantly feel this is more of a give relationship, vice a give and take relationship. But man, it was one of those things where it started off great. You know what I'm saying? By the time it's ended, I just sat there asking myself so many questions. And again, it just got worse throughout the night. So I leave the stadium at like 12 o'clock that night to get on a plane. I don't sleep because I have to get on a flight at 4:30 in the morning to get back here to Houston. And I can't sleep. So I'm sitting there just wondering what the heck happened. Like a dumbass, I watched the game again on freaking NFL Network because it was playing again. So I'm watching it in the hotel trying to understand what happened. And I got nothing. I got nothing. It's like this team finds a way to lose now as if that's their goal. As if finding new ways to lose and just obliterate this franchise, just obliterate us as fans. It's their new goal, their new purpose in life. The Jets had no business losing that game. No business losing that game, and yet somehow they did. We brought in Aaron Rodgers. We brought him his boy Devontae Adams. We got Mike Williams. You got Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, Allen Lazard. Like you've got a bunch of options and weapons, and for some reason, Aaron Rodgers is playing the game like he's scared. He's playing the game like Zach Wilson. Like some of the misses that I saw when you watch the tape back, man, getting the all-22, man, I think that's more punishment because when you watch the game, you know what I'm saying, in terms of the broadcasted game, you don't see a lot of the intricacies behind like what's going on, who's getting free, who's getting open. When you get the all-22, when you get all those angles, you start to really question like why. And missed opportunity after missed opportunity, man, was the name of the game for Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's okay. I see Neat. She got a question. Do you think they will ever activate Malachi and bench Gibson? That's another great question. Gibson literally started off the game fumbling freaking the kicks. Like he had one good game. Gibson, I think, had one good game for us, and I think that one good game somehow has earned him a pass. Yes, he won that Buffalo Bills game in a thrilling Monday night start to the season last year, and then he's been ghost ever since. Malachi Corley could not possibly be worse. I know for a fact Malachi Corley is better than Isaiah Davis being back there freaking trying to field kicks, who slips and can't seem to move his feet whenever given the opportunity. I don't understand how you hype this kid up so much as being like, Yeah, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like he was the dude. And you don't play him. You don't activate him. Right now, we're struggling to get freaking yards after the catch. This is what this kid did. You mean to tell me you can't find a way to get the ball in this kid's hand to alleviate some of the pressure that Aaron Rodgers is feeling? Make the defensive play a little bit more honest so they don't so the running game can get going. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Gibson has been horrible. I'm with you. I don't know why the hell they haven't activated freaking Malachi. Because to me, it should have already been done. Gibson has been a liability, and I don't understand why he's still out there. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I think this game broke the majority of the fan base. I do. I think when we came into this season, we really started to believe that this wasn't going to be the same old Jets. I mean, as a fan base, we are emotionally invested in this team. Like, I came home and I had to talk with my daughter, my oldest daughter, as heartbreaking as it was. I felt like as a father, it's child abuse for me to go ahead and hold her to this fanhood because I won her fandom at birth, right? Like, I gave her an option. And just like us Jets fans, she's like, no. I mean, just imagine when they do start winning, how great it's going to feel. And I sat there and I looked at it and I was like, wow. I mean, that's literally been the story of my life as a fan. This is what all Jets fans think. She's 14. 14. She's never seen a playoff game for the Jets. Oh my God. This girl, man, bless her heart. She said, yeah, it sucks now, Dad, but just imagine when they actually start winning. And in that moment, I wanted to tell her, I'll be like, baby girl, I don't even know if that's something I can honestly tell you is going to happen in the near future. I don't think we've ever put together this much talent on paper before, at least in my almost 30 years of rooting for this team. And we're 2-5. We're 2-5. We're losing the teams that we shouldn't be losing to, like teams we are significantly better than talent wise on paper. But we just keep getting our shit pushed in. 14 years old, girl said, "Nah, I'm a Jets fan. This is what does he say? It's not what fandom is about. You don't abandon, your team or who you're supporting when things get rough. You're a fan." And I was like, "All right, stop. You've been hanging out with your mom too much, hitting me with a little bit too much philosophy." But as a fan base, man, I'm sorry because I know I'm seeing it on Twitter. I'm seeing it in content creators. I don't think I've ever seen this fan base this demoralized before. And I'm talking about last year, we watched Aaron Rodgers go down after 4 snaps. And I think this hurts more. Because at least then with that, right, it was the thought process of the what if, right? Man, he went down, it sucks. But he said he's going to come back. Like we were able to feed off of that a little bit. We're seeing him play now. And it's nowhere near what we're expecting. Not even close. Not even close. So it warrants the question, right? It warrants the question. Aaron needs to be held accountable playing like a school and have us do this. I'm going to add to that gangrene report. Is Rodgers washed? Real question. I mean, tell me what y'all think in the chat. But is Rodgers washed? Did our expectations of getting somebody who was going to be 70% of Aaron Rodgers, 80% was the hope, right? More than that, I think we were all in the greens. Like we're significantly in the black. That's a huge win. But is Aaron Rodgers washed? Is he cooked? Because if anyone who's watched y'all's 22 or if anybody who's watched the game back again, did you look at that dude and not see a dude that was just jittery? Like he wasn't comfortable? Like he wasn't certain of himself? Like he's questioning himself while he's freaking playing this game he's been playing for 20 years now. Well, at the NFL level for 20 years. And now he's second guessing himself. Like he's uncertain. I don't know how to explain it because it doesn't make sense. Aaron Rodgers is missing things that it's not about his mobility. It's not about his ability to get out of the pocket. It's about stuff he's been doing for years now. I mean, the arm talent is still there. The arm strength is still there. We watched the dude hail a 60-yard bomb into the freaking end zone that went up 50 yards before it came down. So the dude's got arm talent for days. But I agree, he needs to be held accountable. I think at this point, if Ulbrich is not having a hard conversation with his star quarterback, I can't even call him a star right now. I wouldn't say that with his quarterback. That's a problem. You talked about accountability. That was pretty much your mantra when you took over this job from freaking Coach Saleh. The one thing everybody was on board with was that, hey, these guys are repeating the same bullshit over and over again. We were pissed. We wanted accountability. You said, boom, accountability is going to be a thing. We need to see it, and that starts even with a guy like freaking Rodgers. I think people talk about Aaron Rodgers like, hey, you know what? It's Aaron Rodgers. It's cool. Like it's just great just to have him. But ladies and gents, we've put a lot on the line here. We've given up significant capital to bring Aaron Rodgers in the building, and I don't think just for him to be here and be the Jets quarterback was our goal. I mean, the goal to me is obviously I think is a Super Bowl, but I think right now we would just be okay with the winning season the way it's going. It's been rough, man, because this isn't supposed to be like this, man. We're not supposed to be in this situation again. Like, but yeah, you're right. This is part of our life. This is literally now who we are, who we've become. I just how are we 2-5? How? In fact, you know what? I tweeted this out earlier today, and I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it. In fact, I'm gonna share it with you guys, and then I want your opinion on it because it doesn't make sense. The New York Jets are 2-5 right now. Makes zero sense. But what if I told you guys that right now? Let me read it from my phone. All right. So what if I told you right now it's week 7 of this season. One team is 2-5, and then the other team is 6-0. I want you to just hear this out. So Team A, the QB has more passing yards. The QB has more passing TDs. The QB is the 7th overall rated quarterback statistically. Team A also has the NFL leader in sacks. Team A also has the number 2 player in TD receptions in the league. The number 6 total defense, the number 7 offensive player in all scrimmage yards, and then they got 2 top 20 receivers to include a top 10 wide receiver statistically on the season. Now, Team B the quarterback leads the league in interceptions. They have the 16th overall QB statistically. 0 skill position players in the top 50 for receiving. Their number 1 receiving threat has 0 TDs on the year. They have the 32nd ranked rusher, and they're the number 10 total defense. Team B is 6-0. Team A is 2-5. The Kansas City Chiefs, they have not looked good this year. They haven't, and yet somehow, some way, they're 6-0, and we're 2-5. The math ain't mathing on so many levels, and it's just gotten to the point now where I'm at a loss, man. And infrared, I saw this too. 5 penalties. 5 penalties. So again, the discipline aspect, we were all calling for correction. Jeff Ulbrich got to the guys. 5 penalties this game. That's more than acceptable. But we wind up giving up the second most points we've given up all season to a team that's not known for scoring points. That's what makes it worse. The Steelers are not a freaking offensive team. They're a defensive regime. And I don't know. I don't know if this can be fixed. I feel like every week we're losing differently, right? If you're losing differently, can you really like hone in on what the problem is in order to fix the problem? I don't know if you can. I really don't. This fan base deserves better. I mean, if we're being honest, man, I think that's the most frustrating part. This fan base deserves better. I went out there to Pittsburgh, and they have a 20-year wait for season tickets. Their fans don't sell their tickets, man. They hoard them. You know, there wasn't a lot of available seats for Jets fans to go out there. Some of the individuals that I actually got to meet at the Gotham City tailgate, they're not even going to the game. They came out there and they're going to be standing, you know what I'm saying, or going to bars to watch the game because they couldn't get tickets to get into the building. But they're still coming to these events, still want to support. The Jets fans that were able to get in there were far and few in between. There was one part, man. This was devastating to me, kind of heartbreaking a little bit. At one point, it's the end of the third quarter. And in my head, I'm realizing, like, yeah, we're going to do the same old Jets thing and lose this game. Like, it's the way it's going, it's already a wrap. And everybody's standing up and they're doing their freaking, you know what I'm saying, like terrible towel thing. And I'm just sitting down. If I could stare to my right, I can go ahead and see the big Jumbotron stadium screen just a little bit because there's people standing up and whatnot. But to my left, one of the 4 Jets fans that were literally spread loaded around in my section If I look to my left, I literally there's one Jets fan doing the same exact thing. He's sitting down. His friends are around him. I guess two. They're doing the terrible towel swing thing, and he just happened to look back because Donald Trump was up in the booth thing behind me. So I think he was looking back to look up. But at the same time that he did that, he looked down, and I happened to be looking left. We caught eyes. Both of us just sitting there, sad as all hell, and that is the life of a Jets fan. Literally everyone around us is happy or celebrating. I just happened to catch eyes with the one freaking Jets fan that was in my area. Both of us looking depressed like somebody had just shot our dog. This fan base deserves so much better, man. Then I'm hearing that they pushed out the freaking season ticket bills, like it's due or something. I'm like, bro, y'all. So how do we fix it? How do we fix it? The New York Jets, man, 2-5. Can it be fixed? Is this team good? Uh, is there anything that can be done that's going to allow us to save this season? I saw something that said at 2-5, somehow we have a 50% chance of still making the playoffs. I don't see how. I don't know if that's real or if that's just a joke. But I look at these things, man, in this situation, and I can't see it. Like I can't see it. Green Report says Team B has heart and we have gutless leadership. It's all starting to make sense on Rodgers not being galvanized. But a selfish person can win with this. I mean, you're not wrong. You got to start questioning the leadership aspect, right? Like we're talking about a team that has all the pieces, that has all the talent, and somehow, some way, they're worse than like last year. Literally at this time, with a harder schedule, we're 4-3 with Zach Wilson, a combination of quarterbacks behind center. Our offensive line was in freaking shambles. We only had Garrett Wilson. We only had freaking Breece Hall. So the weapons weren't really there. But we're 4-3. We played a harder gauntlet of teams to get to that point. We're 2-5 right now. I wrote an article about how this was supposed to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was supposed to be the Denver Broncos, the formula that Peyton Manning and Tom Brady followed. This was supposed to be our opportunity. And yeah, those guys started off slow too. I know they started off slow too before they turned things around. But man, like I don't know if Rodgers is built like those guys, right? Like, yeah, he's by far the most talented quarterback I think we've ever seen. More talented than Tom Brady, more talented than freaking Peyton Manning. But Tom Brady had that clutch gene about him, right? And he was a vocal leader. He was willing to go ahead and do the little things. He was a constant. Peyton Manning, not the best arm, right? But probably the most intelligent, highest IQ freaking quarterback ever played in the NFL. But he also was ready to do the little things, you know what I'm saying, and do the little things to go ahead and get better and make sure the team was good too around him. Is Aaron Rodgers that guy? Do we know if Aaron Rodgers is that guy? Like, is football that serious for him? I mean, I don't know. If this is it perfectly right, great coaching shadows a lot. I mean, yeah, I would say that. I would say great coaching shadows a lot, but we. Man, I don't know if Sean Payton's a great coach, but I guess he's won the Super Bowl, so we've got no choice. He's kind of earned that distinction. Oh man, what about Tyron Smith? Oh God, yeah, good point infrared. Like another huge swing. This guy was a second team All Pro last year. He throws on a Jets uniform and he's playing like Mekhi Becton, like Dwayne Brown. I can understand him freaking, taking a couple of steps backwards, Father Time, it happens to everybody. But to go off of a cliff like this, how does that happen? Like, how does that happen? John Simpson is playing great ball. Morgan Moses is playing good ball. He's playing good right tackle. I know the analytics are saying like he's not playing well, but if I'm being honest, man, when you watch the tape and when you watch the games, you don't see Morgan Moses being the cause of a lot of freaking chaos. It's been Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith's been freaking a a swinging door, man, like a saloon door. Like it's just been one of those things where you're not expecting that to come from that side, and yet it's come from that side. I don't know what the answer is, man. I think that at this point we're hoping for the best. I mean, Jets Afterburner says it beautifully right here. It's an empty culture in that locker room. There is no identity. No one is a leader. It's a bunch of superstar names and no heart. I would hate to go to war with those men. Too egotistical. And bro, you are right. You are right. I think there's a lot of me guys in that room, right? Um, and you even hear it, right? In a lot of their conversations in terms of Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, you know what I'm saying? Like you hear it in their press conferences, how, yeah, I gotta do better. This has to happen, right? I hear people talking about me negatively, blah, blah. It's never about them talking about how the team and even freaking Aaron Rodgers is agitating me because it seems like he's starting to point fingers more. At first, you give him the benefit of the doubt. Our guys need to get on the same page with you, like what's going on. But then Devontae Adams goes out there, and you're missing him left and right. He was open on a freaking on a mesh route concept it was a beautiful freaking open, and his mechanics or his footwork is trash. I could have said it better myself, Afterburner. That's perfectly said. I think what it is right now, it is a lot of superstars. There's a lot of talent in that room. There's no denying that the Jets have a ton of talent. You'd have to be a fool to be like, yo, no, they're not good. No, there's a bunch of talent in that room. But it doesn't matter if they can't play like a team. And isn't it crazy that the last few years we've had a top 5 defense, a top 5 special teams, and the offense was the issue. And now the offense is staying healthy. The defense is taking some hits. The special teams can't figure out how to do anything special. Like it's crazy how we've all of a sudden forgotten complimentary football and special teams and defense is how we won games the last couple of years. And we can't. I don't know, man. Like Johnny boy, bro, I love you, bro, and I'm hoping you're right, man. I'm hoping you're right, dog. Like, and I've been trying to like all day today. All day today, I kid you not, I'm at work. I'm getting roasted at work because, of course, I rep the Jets there too. I talk about how much I love these guys, and then I got a freaking Klecko jersey hanging on my office wall. So I'm getting roasted at work because I'm a Jets fan, and I'm thinking I'm doing the show tonight, and I don't know how to spin this positively without sounding insane. Like the streak starts this Sunday. We got to believe, and that's all we have to go off of, Johnny. Like there's no logic behind why we should believe. There's no like facts for us to present as to why this is what's going to happen to change it. Thus far, they've proven that they can say a lot of cool words, a lot of motivational freaking like clickbait. The snowball starts an avalanche type. Like we've heard all that stuff, but they haven't been able to show it to us at least consistently on a field. I would love for this week for us to go ahead and be what kicks off, you know what I'm saying, a run against the Patriots in their house, beat the dog shit out of them. Now, boom, swept them. The Patriots have been swept for the first time by the New York Jets, I think in almost like 20-something years. Love that for us. Then we got the Texans next week. They're not playing elite football. I thought the Texans were going to be a lot better. I think in terms of matchups, if we can get a little bit healthier on the defensive side, we stand a pretty good chance. But you're right, man. It has to start this week. I've been going back and forth with Mike, the stat guy, in regards to what the numbers look like. Oddly enough, as pissed off as I am as a Jets fan, I'm still sick. I'm still sick, and I freaking still love this team. So because I'm still sick and love this team, I'm trying to contemplate what are the ways or the options that we have to still make the playoffs. Because ultimately, once you're in, anything can happen. I'm still kind of concerned as to what this team can accomplish at the next level. But you just got to get in. If you can get in, then anything can happen. So we're sitting there crunching these numbers, and it's come to my attention that we're still very much in this thing. Like 10 wins to get you in. We got 10 games left. That means we got to win 8 of them. We got a very, very soft schedule. In fact, it's the easiest remaining schedule in the NFL. The tough games we got coming up, well, the Texans. And again, we got to play the Bills. Every other game, the New York Jets are favored to win. Like they are favored to win every other game. Now, doesn't matter. We're favored to win against the freaking Steelers. We're favored to win against the Broncos. We saw how those things ended up. Still got to do it. But again, can they figure it out? Like we get Hassan Reddick back. Is that gonna help? I mean, right now this is significantly for him a contract year. So in a contract year, he needs to go ahead and get better to go ahead and get paid money next year. So hopefully, you know what I'm saying, that pans out. But if it doesn't start this week, man, I don't know. 10 games left. We can only afford to drop 2 more games for the rest of the season. And that's going to be for a shot at a wild card with some help. Because remember, we've lost to the Steelers now. We've lost to the Broncos now. They're both most likely going to be wild card teams. And we don't have that tiebreaker. So if they keep going the way they're going, there we go, right? Like it's 10 games is going to be the minimum we need in order for us to be in the conversation for the playoffs. We got to go 8-2. 8-2, man. And look, I'm ready to jump on board and start believing that this team is going to change it around, but they've got to show us something this week. I'm sorry. And I'm not going to be okay with just beating the Patriots by 3, beating the Patriots by 6. It needs to be a double score win for us to really understand that this team has gotten their mind together, got their mind right. The Patriots are significantly less talented than the Jets. Gerard Mayo stems from the Bill Belichick coaching tree. Those guys don't do well at the NFL level. They're not good coaches. So coaching is an even wash. Every single advantage right now is in our favor against the Patriots. Significantly, you got to go ahead and smack them. You got to smack them. It's got to be an embarrassing win. It's got to be one that's going to be minimum of 2 scores. And if it's not that, then I have concerns. I've got concerns because we got to stop playing to our opponent's level, I guess, or capabilities, and play up. Because the goal is playoffs now. Again, I can't even say Super Bowl. I think just saying it out loud just seems laughable to me. But it's, at the very least, it's playoffs. We need to start seeing them do playoff level things. Ricky says we have to stop the run. Scoring more so teams can't run in the fourth would help, and offensive line must play better. Period. 100%. I think we all agree on what needs to get done. We all kind of know what needs to get done. But another way we can go ahead and slow the run down is score more points and get ahead of them. Right? Score more points. Score more points. I love that. It's well said. Scoring more so teams can't run in the fourth would help. And Aaron Rodgers has no excuse. I'm sorry. And we got you, your boy. Nathaniel Hackett is only in the building because of Aaron Rodgers. We can all just be real about that. Nobody in that building wanted him. Nobody was going to go ahead and hire him other than the Jets. We brought him in the building because we knew he was going to give us the best chance to land Aaron Rodgers. Then we went out and we got guys like Allen Lazard. We tried the freaking experiment with freaking the little guy. I forgot the little guy's name. Little wide receiver. Wow. You know what I'm talking about. Him. He's gone now, thank goodness. But now we've brought you Devontae Adams. You still got Allen Lazard. You've got 2 first-round wide receivers, something that you've never had before in your entire career. The Jets said, boom, here's Mike Williams. Here's Garrett Wilson. He's the catalyst that's going to go ahead and make this better. And at this point, I think a lot of individuals are scared to kind of like criticize Aaron Rodgers. Why? You've paid for your Sunday ticket. You're paying for your cable. You've bought the jerseys already. Like you've paid to go to these games. Why wouldn't you want to voice your opinion on what your expectations are? Aaron Rodgers has not met expectations. And I'm talking about the bare minimum ones that we all thought we were going to be getting within Aaron Rodgers. He's on track to go ahead and throw more interceptions than he's ever thrown before in his career. And the thing is, they're stupid interceptions too. The one he threw into triple coverage in that game on Sunday, I don't know what he was looking at. Like I was right there. There wasn't a window. Now, in hindsight on the All-22, apparently, like if Garrett had freaking, straightened his route out, like there was a bit of a pocket. And I guess some people are thinking that maybe he was expecting that, which is why he hit. Look, you're Aaron freaking Rodgers, man. You got to figure this thing out. I'm sorry, man. Like at this point, the organization has given you everything you've asked for, that you've wanted, right? I'm not saying he wanted Salah fired, but he got Salah fired by not performing up to par, right? The whole purpose was you came here because you love Salah, you love the coaching, you love everything. But already pieces are being taken apart on this team after you've gotten here because, let's be honest, you're not performing up to par. You're a first ballot Hall of Famer. You're supposed to be coming here to go ahead and rub it in the faces of the people that doubted you. Guess what? The fools like Nick Wright right now are laughing because although he couldn't name 10 players on the New York Jets freaking roster, he thinks just by saying New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers are bad, Now he thinks he's an analyst again. Fools like Nick Wright right now are singing, they're happy, freaking giggling like control he is. And Rodgers, unfortunately, is making those kind of characters right. Florio's living his best life right now. I think that's the worst part. I think that's the worst part. When you validate individuals who obviously don't know shit about the New York Jets. They don't watch the games. They probably watch some highlights in the end or watch the end score, the stat lines, and think, haha, Jets suck. They don't know any players from the game. They don't know this game. They don't know nothing about the team. They just want to hate Aaron Rodgers or LOL, it's the Jets. You got bums like that looking like they know what the fuck they're talking about. And it's agitating, man. Like, it's extremely frustrating because I'm okay with being in a conversation and you actually know fucking ball and then you're telling me why my team sucks and I'm trying to counter and it's a real debate because there's actual logical people talking about freaking football stuff. Nick Wright and freaking Florio are not those guys. They don't really know football. They're where they're at because they're more of a clown show, right? They get people to laugh and whatnot. They can do their LOL things. Their voices are kind of funny. That's why they're where they're at. But you validate these clowns when you play the way you're playing. Like, and that again, it's not just Aaron Rodgers that's looking like a fool. Every single one of us that's come to bat for this dude is looking dumb. I hate looking dumb. God, I fucking hate looking dumb. It's look at the end of the day, like they've got to play ball. They've got to figure it out. The time frame to do so right now is starting to shorten a little bit. I don't know if anybody else wants to jump on here and vent a little bit with me, man. I see you guys in the chat. I'll just post the link in case you want to jump on here and kind of get something off your chest. But when it comes to this team, man, it's ridiculous that we're at this point and that we're really having to ask ourselves, are they even good? Like that's where people are at right now. That's where I'm at right now. I'm saying here, I paid money, man, to go ahead and learn how to analyze. Hey, I paid money. I've read articles, books, in regards to how to analyze, player traits and skill sets and how we can implement from the college level to the NFL level. Like, I've done this stuff because I wanted to go ahead and get a better understanding of why my team sucked so much for so long. And a lot of individuals that jump in front of these cameras have invested that kind of time and resources into trying to better understand the game. So we can look, how are we? But I'm sitting here telling you, I don't know how we're this bad. I have no idea how we're this bad because everything that I've studied, everything that I've read, every video that I've watched to go ahead and kind of accumulate this amateur knowledge of what good roster or good players look like tells me this is a good roster. These are good players. But the output that we're seeing on Sundays, Mondays, whenever, right, is not that. It's not showing us that. And so now I'm like, man, I wasted all this time, money. This is stuff you can't get back. This time, it's already spent. It's gone. It's making me question whether or not these guys are good. And then now it's making me question if our young pieces are even good. Like, that's where my brain has now gone. I'm over here thinking to myself, man, I really thought Garrett Wilson was going to be a top 5 guy in the NFL with Aaron Rodgers. I believe that. You couldn't convince me otherwise. I feel like he had the skill set, he had the speed, the body control, the hand-eye coordination. He's a great route runner. He's Like, I was like, this kid, man, just needs the quarterback. Here he is, back-to-back years, 1,000-yard seasons with bums at quarterback. He just needed a guy. Got the guy. I'm like, yeah, he's going to be a stud. He's dropping passes left and right now, uncharacteristic of him. Dropping touchdown passes, freaking dropping. But is it his fault? Is it something wrong? Is it in his head? Is he even good? Like, these are the things now that are happening because I don't know if Garrett Wilson is as good as I thought he was now. Like, I'm questioning what my eyes have showed me for the last couple of years because now when it counts the most, we're not seeing it. When we need him to make the clutch freaking touchdown grab that could be the difference maker in beating Buffalo, he can't make it. When we're asking him to catch the ball on the sideline to go ahead and pretty much get that first down and kind of get some momentum, it's bouncing off of his chest and it's getting intercepted. I'm literally sitting here like, man, is Garrett Wilson even good? Is he just a wide receiver 2 maybe? Did I really fool myself into believing this dude was a wide receiver 1? Sauce Gardner. Is he even good? Like I look at Sauce Gardner and I see a guy, man. This is a two-time All-Pro. I've watched this dude in terms of cover skills, the nuances. You know what I'm saying? Like he's doing things that most veterans, don't learn to do until year 3, year 4. He's done it, in year 1 and 2. I've seen a guy who, in terms of coverage skills, matches up well with a guy like a Darrell Revis. And I'm not saying he's Darrell Revis by any capacity. Darrell Revis was built different. Dude loved to hit, loved to tackle. We all know freaking Sauce Gardner is not going to get his head in there and do any kind of big tackles. But I'm starting to question if he's good at football. And by good, I mean, like, is he really in the conversation of the top 3 cornerbacks in football? Like that's the crazy part to me, right? Like I know what I've seen the last couple of years, but this year, when you need the kid the most right now, right, when this team right now is supposed to be coming together finally to achieve greatness, he's non-existent, man. He's gone. He's ghost. He's ghost. He doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't tackle well, right? He's not going to help you in the run game. He's a coverage guy, but is a coverage guy that doesn't really travel with the other team's best player, a guy that we can really just keep sitting here and telling ourselves is elite? Is he? I don't know if I know that anymore. I just I, this has been so frustrating to me the last couple of days, really questioning myself in these aspects. Brees Hall looks like he's lost a step. I don't know what's going on with him. Right, he had a better game this past week in the passing game, but in the running game, not so much. But that's been the story all season. I mean, do we just suck nuts though? Like I just have a I have a hard time believing that we just suck. When again, collectively, what our eyes have shown us is the people we have in this building are really good at this thing called football. Like really, really good. And yet they forget how to play. Like is the Namath curse real? Like at some point you gotta ask, is the Namath curse real? Like I'm not one to believe in this stuff. I mean, I'm not superstitious, I'm just a little bit stitious. But you watch what you're seeing right now at 2-5, and you're seeing other teams that have better records than you, but have are not performing to the level, statistically speaking, as your current team. Is the Namath curse real? Like, I don't know how else to explain it. I just don't. Scott says the O line is the root of the problem. Can't run the ball, and Rodgers has been getting liked or licked. Do the Jets lead the league in drop passes? Sure, Rodgers could be better, but this is not on him. I don't know, man, and I think this goes back to us trying to give him a pass because his name is Aaron Rodgers. I know he blamed Mike Williams for not being on the red line for the pass, but if you look back at the tape, there were 2 players clearly in front of him. There was a minute and 40 seconds left on the clock. You had freaking Brees Hall right there as a check down, and you had Conklin untouched on the left side of the field, I think on the seam route. But you go for the play to Mike Williams, which you're saying that you noticed that he wasn't where he was supposed to be, except like it. Why not go for the check down? That was right in front of you. Going for the kill shot with a minute and 4 seconds left to go. That's on him. The throw to Garrett Wilson in the middle of the field on Sunday. That's on him. He had plenty of time. He had plenty of time. He steps up into the pocket, plenty of time to do it. In fact, 3 steps back, gets out. He had plenty of time. That wasn't an issue at all. The O line hasn't been perfect, but I think that we've gone to blaming the O line because Rodgers has taken some hits. But even in his movement in the pocket, man, I actually watched the dude on the Jake Asman show earlier, breaking it down. He showed several instances where Aaron Rodgers is actually stepping into the line of pressure for the defender to be able to go ahead and have a more direct route to him. Rodgers is not playing like himself, Scott. Like, and again, the O-line hasn't been great. Tyron Smith has been a liability. I think personally we need to just bring Olu Fashanu out there, man. The Tyron experiment was supposed to be fun, but maybe he needs to sit for a little bit, become a backup. But like Aaron Rodgers has not been Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if we lead the league in drops. I have not looked into that, so I'm not too sure. But if do you think maybe Aaron Rodgers is hurt? I've heard people saying that they think Aaron Rodgers is hurt. If he is hurt, are we going to allow him to continue to go out there and play like this when we have a guy like Tyrod Taylor who is more than capable at starting at the NFL level to maybe get us a couple of wins on the board while he heals up and gets better? Like, maybe we sit Rodgers then so we can feel better because he has taken some hits, some pretty tough hits, but really nothing as egregious as when he took them against Denver. Like Denver really messed him up. I think he got hit a lot against Denver. So if he's playing hurt because of those licks, man, should he sit down? Should he be telling them that he's not at full capacity? I just I don't know, man. Big Will says hold Rodgers accountable, bench him for Taylor. He's not the head coach or the GM, just the QB. Lead by example. You say you want to do what's good for the team. So far, all you did is got your boys paid. He's not playing. He's not playing good enough, man. He's not playing good enough. And but makes it worse is uh, with new play calling right now. You're seeing players get open, right? So the play calling offensively has been pretty good. It has been. It's significantly impressed. It's improved in such a short time frame. But he's not seeing it. He's not seeing the field, or he's gun shy, or he's got happy feet in the pocket. I don't know if he's in his head. I know he said earlier today on the Pat McAfee show that they're playing angry and they need to go ahead and get that situated so they can go ahead and focus on having fun again. But I'm sorry, man. I'm pissed. I'm pretty sure you guys are pissed. Jets fans are pissed right now. You would think playing a violent sport like football, when you get angry, you probably perform better, more violent. We got pushed around and bullied again on freaking Sunday night by the Steelers. They didn't seem angry to me. They seemed quite soft, in my opinion, getting pushed around as easily as they did. I just Garrett dropped 4 passes. Adams dropped 6 passes. That was on. Was that on freaking Sunday night? I mean, it has to be because Adams is just now playing 6. Did Adams really drop 6 passes? Man, just Afterburner says, just my opinion, we're not succeeding because this team does not work on the details, the penalties, the field goals, the constant offsides. It's a mix of players and coaches. There is no general. Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. It seems like every week has been a different way of losing. Like we're creating ways to make life more difficult for ourselves, and I don't understand why. I have no clue why. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like if they fix one thing, like if it's not the play calling, the execution's an issue, right? If it is the freaking like the play call, the plays are jacked up, execute, like then it's the penalties, or maybe everything's working right and they're moving the ball, but then Greg can't kick a field goal. Like it's been one thing or another, and and that's what I think makes the whole thing worse, right? When you have one issue you need to kind of work on, you can focus on that one issue and potentially get to a root cause and bring some solutions to the table. In this situation, it's just a variety of different issues that keep popping up week after week, or like there's no constant. If there's no constant, then we're just sitting here having this conversation trying to figure out how the hell do they get better? Who knows? Can they fix all of these constant variables, you know what I'm saying, in a short time frame? I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. Again, like I said, I'm starting to question a lot of what I thought I knew about the game, about these players. I just it's crazy to me that we're not even in November yet, and I'm already seeing mock drafts. That's a real thing. I'm already starting to see mock drafts, and it's not even. Oh my gosh, it's not even freaking November yet. I think what it boils down to is that yeah, nah. I mean, this it's the Jets, man. It's the Jets at 2-5. Can we salvage this season? Um, I I want to say yes. I want to say yes. I want to say that we can salvage this season. We can. But Greg makes a very valid point. The Jets really only played one good game so far all year. It was against the Patriots. And you know what? I might get some slack for saying this. The Jets beat the Titans? No. The Jets didn't beat the Titans. Will Levis lost the game for the Titans, if we're being honest. If we're being honest, we didn't beat the Titans. Will Levis lost the game for the Titans. One good game, man. 1 out of 7. And I know the another thing that agitates me, like, oh, there's plenty of football left. We've got time. You know what I'm saying? We got to get some things figured out. Blah, blah, blah. No, there's no time. You're the New York Jets.
every single game matters for the New York Jets. You don't get the luxury of time because what your stellar track record of turning it on and winning big when it matters. That's not what we do. Is that you don't get to sit there and tell us the fan base, hey, stress out. It's cool. There's 10 games left. There's plenty of time to turn things around. That is not what this team does. They don't turn shit around. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. That agitates the crap out of me too. That's some solidisms that needs to be taken out of there because it also amplifies the fact that there's no sense of urgency with these guys. There's none. If you can sit there and honestly say like there's plenty of time left, plenty of football left, knowing damn well this organization has consistently been fighting from behind to fail, it goes to show you the sense of urgency is non-existent, which also agitates the crap out of me every time one of them says it. There's plenty of football left, as if we're not the freaking New York Jets. Oh my god, yeah, this part right here is the worst, man. Like I was, I was smiling right before that interception. I was smiling, ha ha, he, ha ha. Look at us, moving the ball up and down the field at will. It felt good. I enjoyed that. I had a brief moment of what it feels like to be the fan of a competent offensive team. I'm like, this must be what other teams feel when their offense is on the field and they know they're going to move the ball. I was really feeling like that. And of course, it came crashing down. That interception happened in my gut. I had a little twist in my gut, like, man, that sucks. But okay, it's fine. It's cool. Defense is still playing well. We're good. Third, the interception in the third quarter. I was like, yeah, we're gonna blow it. We got hit in the mouth, and we have no solutions for it. This team is gonna go ahead and pretty much collapse, and they continue to collapse for the rest of that game. This is very well said. They are they're inventive losers. I wish they would be more inventive winners, right? But the Jets, at the very least, are creative in ways to lose games. Very creative in that aspect. Got to give them credit where credit is due. Adams had 9 targets and received 3 of them. It didn't look like it in these games, but that's what the numbers say. Look, I'll say this. I watched the tape again, like I said before. There were some ridiculously erratic passes that Aaron Rodgers threw his way that were not catchable. There's just no way. Excuse me. I thought I muted the mic when I did that. There's just no way. I like if I'm now I want to watch it again. But if you're telling me he had 9 targets that were accurately thrown his way and he dropped 6, then I will say whoever documented the stats are just naming targets vice actual catchable passes. Because there were some. I mean, one of them, Rodgers jumps up and kind of tries to throw it to him, and it was like low and away when Rodgers could have just set his feet, got it into freaking Devontae's hands. I mean, hell, the first play of the game, Rodgers freaking throws it far right. No reason to, but now he can't freaking complete a simple screen pass to one of his BFFs that he's played for 8 years in the league. So, yeah, I'd have to see more, but I don't believe that I would put 6 drops on freaking Adams. But I mean, at this point, it wouldn't shock me either, man. If that was the case, like I said, it only us. Rodgers really hasn't shown any scramble ability or play extension since before Denver. I really think he is hurt. We saw it against the Patriots. Got out of the pocket. He was scrambling. He was running. After that Denver game, man, non-existent. I think it was the Denver game where he got bent over the knee. I think it was the Denver game. Maybe it was the Vikings game. But either way, after the Denver game, he has not looked the same. He just hasn't. Yeah, I don't know what to expect when it comes to that. But again, he's not going to bench himself. I feel like we're getting Brett Favre all over again. Remember when we had a shot, and he tore his pec, I think it was, or it was his bicep, but he still kept trying to play, and he was asked after that because he was playing injured, just trying to chase his freaking Iron Man freaking record to keep that thing going, whatever it was. I don't know if Rodgers is going to be the kind of dude that says I'm gonna just sit out. Greg says Finn's games are going to kill me. Listen, they get Tua back. I know they weren't playing well with Tua even before, but again, another team that's got their back against the wall. They're hungry. Their defense has actually played better than I anticipated that they would be playing. Finn's defense right now, I think, is a top 10 unit in the NFL in overall defense. There, there's no guarantees right now. Seeing this team play the way we've seen them play the last 7 games, I can't sit here and tell you like, oh, we're beating. I don't know if we're beating the Patriots on Sunday. I'm hoping we do. But like we said earlier, we've been so creative in ways to lose games. I don't even know if we're beating the Patriots on Sunday. That's how I feel right now. I'm hoping that we do, but I couldn't tell you for certain that we can. The Finns with Tua back, I don't know what to expect. I don't know if the time off is got Tua, you know what I'm saying, like refocused, recalibrated. He wasn't looking good the last like 7 games he's played in the NFL, to include this season. But again, does he come back more refreshed, more aware? I don't know. No idea. I know one thing: they were the number 1 offense last year in football, and this year they're the 32nd ranked offense in football. The biggest denominator that you can talk about is the fact that Tua hasn't been out there. So I would assume that Tua coming out there should, at the very least, move them up in the pecking order. And again, their defense is a top 10 defense. So I don't know, man. I don't know. How is the locker room culture, and how much does this play into what we are seeing? Personally, I think they've embraced losing. I do. I think that the fact that whenever these guys lose a game, it seems to hurt the fan base. Like I've seen more emotion, more reaction from the fan base. You know what I'm saying, when we experience these losses, and the guys who are out there on the field who are embarrassing, not just the name on the front of the jersey, but the name on the back of the jersey, seem nonchalant about it. Hey, I'm gonna try to do better next time. We've got plenty more games to go. Blah blah blah. They seem to care a lot less about it. So I think that the ideology that was, I think it's the Salah regime still there, right? So the Salah culture created is one of acceptance of losing. I think these guys are comfortable losing. It doesn't phase them like it should, right? Like one of the famous quotes I think I've ever heard that makes so much sense if you're a competitor is you've got to hate losing more than you love winning, right? I don't know. You guys tell me. Do these guys look like they're freaking dying inside from losing these games? No. You got Brees Hall on the sideline giggling and chuckling. they're down by freaking 3 scores on the sideline on Sunday Night Football. Like, hey, he got his though. He got his stats, so I think he was fine. But Brees Hall smiling on the sideline. What the hell was that about? So I think they're comfortable in losing. I think that the stench. You know how like if you walk into somebody's house, right, and it smells kind of weird. You're like, what the heck's the smell? Nobody knows what the smell is because they're all been living in this, or it's comfortable to them. So I think that's the Jets locker room. Like the stench of losing is just comfortable to them, right? Like they're sitting in it, you know what I'm saying? Like it's permeating over them and it doesn't phase them. Whereas us and the fan base, whereas we go out there and we got our jobs, we got our lives, everything like that. We only come to this thing on Sundays, Mondays, or Thursdays, and when the smell hits you, you're like, what the hell is that? Not the Jets, man. This is what they're permeating in, and I think that's why um, they'll tell us stuff like, "Oh man, we got plenty more football to go, plenty of time to go ahead and turn things around. No sense of urgency. It's like, eh, whatever happens, happens." Um, That's a good point, Greg. I mean, at the end of the day, hey, even Rodgers said it earlier today. We get well compensated to play this game called football. Yeah, that's true. Um, but at the end of the day, man, like you do something about it. Do something about it because he does get paid millions, and he doesn't. They don't seem to me. It doesn't seem to give a shit. I see infrared says Garrett Wilson hates losing. Look, Garrett Wilson hates looking bad because Garrett Wilson talks about his mistakes when they lose, not about the team in general, about how they can get better. It's about how I need to do better. I need to make that catch. Garrett Wilson cares about what he looks like in these losses because when the team loses, Garrett Wilson to get up there and he'll talk about like, yeah, like, we need to go ahead and figure this thing out. They need to do better. Like something's not working, blah, blah. So it's a different atmosphere, different tone whenever they lose because he feels like he's the cause of the losing, vice the team losing in general. I think he's grown comfortable. The same like the other guys that says they've got plenty of time to figure it out. We got more games to see if we can make you puke. I'm hoping for quite the opposite. I'm hoping that these guys figure it out and they prove not just the Jets fans that are right now in just disbelief of what they witnessed, but analysts that keep running their freaking mouths because I would appreciate it. Jets fans would appreciate it. For just once, you just shut the haters up that are the loudest. I would love it. But the fact of the matter is, we're taking these hits. They're taking these hits too. But I think we care a lot more, at least from what I'm seeing. Because again, they have all the opportunity and all the power to go ahead and do something about it. This man said they played angry on Sunday. I don't know about y'all. That did not look like an angry football team to me. And if they were angry, then I don't want to see them happy because they looked very content. They looked fine. They looked happy. Again, all smiles on the sideline. I just this team has to prove it, man. They just got to prove it. I'm sick and tired of the cool little freaking quotes. You know what I'm saying? The cute quotes. I'm sick and tired of all gas, no break. Sick and tired of accountability. Sick and tired of being bricked up. Sick and tired of freaking snowball causes an avalanche. I just freaking win football games, man. Just go prove it. Just stop talking, go prove it. It's just now to this point where I'm tired. The fan base is tired. You're still charging, saying fans an arm and a leg for these season tickets when you haven't produced a quality product worthy of their hard-earned money for God knows how many years. It's insulting now at this point. It's just insulting. But Jets got the Patriots on Sunday, man. They got the Patriots on Sunday. And I think Tyler beautifully said, man. I think this might be one of the biggest disappointments ever from a roster on paper. Like somebody gave them the term the paper tigers. I think that was Jake Asman. Paper tigers. They look ferocious. They look fierce, you know what I'm saying, on paper. But when it comes to game days, they've been about as soft as baby powder. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Again, there's so much that has gone wrong. There's nothing that I can tell you, anyone can tell you that can dictate how it can be better. And I think that's the most frustrating part. I can't even begin to say, like, you know what, if they just do this or if they just do that, like it gets better. Cause I don't know. I don't know if they can get out of their own way. Cause a lot of this shit is them being in their own way. The Jets either want it or they don't. And at this point, I don't. They haven't proven to us that they want it. They just haven't. They haven't proven to us that they want it. I just can't believe we're already talking mock drafts before fucking Halloween. That to me, I think, is the most frustrating part. Man, and then the Knicks are getting their ass beat by the freaking Celtics. God, at least I got the Yankees to look forward to. This is man. Infrared. We only rushed the goddamn ball 15 times. We got to run 27 to 30 times to have our offense balanced out. Our linemen have to create gaps for our backs. If Keith Carter can't do that, he should go. I think Keith Carter should have been demoted with freaking fired. I don't think freaking Aaron Rodgers has said they can't get rid of Keith Carter. He should have been gone already, in my opinion, too. He's been a liability. And to me, the only other explanation for how poorly that Tyron Smith is playing, if it's not for the Namath curse, is Keith Carter. Because somehow, someway, you've broken a perennial All-Pro, you know what I'm saying, Pro Bowl caliber left tackle. This is a top 5 guy, top 3 guy in the NFL. Second team All-Pro last year, and now this dude looks like he doesn't even know what blocking looks like. Like it's disgusting and it's gross. I mean, yeah, we got to establish the run. I think we need to stop trying to go ahead and run to the side of Tyron Smith. They seem to push between Tyron Smith and Simpson quite a bit. I would prefer to go to the side of a Morgan Moses and Elijah Vera Tucker, but he's hurt. We don't know if Elijah Vera Tucker's playing this week or next week because he's hurt again. Oh my gosh, man. Now I feel you, Infrared. Like I think running the ball is going to help. I don't want Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball 50, 40 times a game. I really don't. At this point, if Rodgers can become a game manager, we could establish the run better. I think the team would be better for it. Putting the ball in his hand to have to win the game, I just don't know if he's got that in him anymore. But if he's got to make 3 to 5 like big boy passes a game because the running game is operating and the defense is getting back on par, special teams decides to show up. Like I think those things coming together can help us win a lot of games. But the margin for error right now is so small. Like, what do you do? Like, you can only drop 2 more games for the rest of the season. And even if you drop just the 2 more games, it doesn't guarantee you a playoff berth. Like, that's like the wild card maybe, because you don't have the freaking tiebreaker against the Broncos or the Steelers, who are most likely going to be freaking wild card contenders, because the Baltimore Ravens are balling out in the AFC North, and the Denver Broncos are in the same division as the Kansas City Chiefs. So we kind of know how that math is going to math. Oh man, bro, I can't. Just win on Sunday. I'm gonna stop talking about playoffs. That's just ridiculous. Just win on Sunday. I think we just gotta look at it one game at a time. Um, man, I, I went from feeling good watching the Yanks go to the World Series to feeling numb watching the Jets debacle. Yeah, like Miguel, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, you get off of that Yankees high, like, hell yeah, we're going to the World Series, and then you're thinking, all right, Jets have the better roster. Their backs are against the wall. Like, Aaron Rodgers has never beaten freaking, or Steelers have never beaten Aaron Rodgers in the regular season. So many things are going for you, and they give us that shit show on Sunday night. And what pisses me off is it happened 3 nights ago, and I'm still pissed about it. I'm still agitated about it. It's ruined my Sunday, my Monday, and now my freaking Tuesday. And I'll probably be so pissed off tomorrow. I don't know, but this team, so invested in this team, and it's just soul crushing, man. It's soul crushing. But yeah, I feel you on that, man. That sucks. Greg with, I'd say thank God for the Pats, but I'll wait until after the game. Yeah, same here. Like, listen, I gotta do a prediction video on the Jets versus Patriots, and I'm watching the Patriots this past game, and this dude Drake May looks alright. He looked alright. You know what I'm saying? He's also a mobile quarterback. We get to face off against him on freaking on a Sunday. Um, yeah. Needless to say, I am not as confident about that game as I was after we played the Patriots the first time. The first time I thought to myself, "Oh, we're gonna sweep these bums." Now I'm like, we're kind of bummy ourselves, so I don't know what to expect on Sunday. Gonna make it all the more true when we are winning playoff games. You have no idea, Scott Foster. Like, you have no what I would give for that to be the reality, because it would be. Like, for us to have stuck around for this long with this team, just waiting for them to be relevant, to get to a point to where they're winning playoff games. Oh my God, man! From in the name of Jake Asman, from your lips to God's ears, because that would be the most rewarding sports season of the last 20 years for me as a Jets fan. As a sports fan, I would hold that in more value than the Yankees going through the World Series, or the freaking Knicks making it to the NBA championship game. Like, a Jets playoff success means that much more to me. Out of 7 games, I don't even think we had our killer bees rush for over 120 yards combined yet. That's a good question. I don't think so. I don't think we've had 120 yards rushing in any game yet this season, and that's disgusting to say, because we've got 2 really, really good backs back there. See, I'm gonna look into that, because that's a very good man. Man. All right, here we go. All right, so MEW says, why is Greg the Leg still on the team? Same Ole Jets. That is a very good question. I was fully expecting Greg the Leg to be off the team today. I was fully expecting to get back into the facilities today. Hey, Greg, you're cooked. You're cooked, man. You're in your own head. We can't afford for you to risk us losing more games moving forward. Here's your walking papers. And somehow, some way, he still has a job. He's still on the team. The guy is literally the last, he's the 32nd ranked kicker of all starting kickers in the NFL right now. Dead last in terms of accuracy. It's like 63% something. That's disgusting. Like, I could go out there and get paid to wear a Jets uniform and kick 63% field goal percentage. It's gross. It's really gross. But great question. Again, this goes back to Ulbrich talking about accountability. We're still waiting to see it, because Greg should not be on an NFL freaking team right now, especially not on an NFL team that's trying to go ahead and go all out this year with very, 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 very minuscule room for error moving forward. That dude shouldn't be on the team. Shouldn't be at all. And he had the leg made kicks. Had the leg made kicks those games, and we were 4-3. Would you feel different? Yeah, winning cures all. I would, and we'd have questions, right, Scott? We'd have questions. We'd definitely be concerned seeing the quality of the product that they put out there not being up to par. But you're 4-3, and now your margin for error significantly increases, right? You can drop 4 more games, right? Like that. Those things matter as you're going down the home stretch. Because again, if they need more time to get it figured out and to gel, cool. Get hot when the playoffs are getting here, and I think we're all happy. But we've now burnt those opportunities. We've burnt those cards against losing to the Broncos. You burnt one. Losing to the freaking to Steelers. You burnt another one. The Vikings game. I mean, the Vikings have been playing great ball, but you were in that one and you shot yourself in the foot several times. Losing to that. Losing to the Buffalo Bills. You've shot yourself in the foot for these opportunities that could allow you to be 4-3 right now. And we're still having a conversation about like, man, I was expecting this or I was expecting more, but you're winning, which buys you more time because now we're not panicking, thinking to ourselves, can they figure it out? Can they get everything figured out to go ahead and actually make the playoffs? So now I'll be honest, like if it were 4-3, my attitude is way different. I would be more positive, and I'd feel like we have more time. I would then be on the same boat like they are. Hey, there's plenty of football left to go. I would be okay with saying it then, because again, you're in a position to where you're still in the conversation for a playoff spot, right? I think at 4-3, you'd still have a playoff spot, and you can still keep getting better. And then you got Devontae Adams now getting acclimated to the team. Hassan Reddick has ended his freaking holdout. He's reported. Like now you're starting to see like, okay, boom, things can keep getting better. The problem is we're 2-5, and we don't have the luxury of getting acclimated. Now we need Hassan Reddick to come out there and like play good football. We need Devontae Adams to come out there and play freaking good football. Like we don't have the time for the adjustments. And that's where I get agitated and concerned because, again, I think we all came into this season playoffs or bust, right? Playoffs or bust. And right now it's looking more like bust, and that sucks. Because for the first time in a long time, it wasn't just us. It was the masses telling us that the New York Jets had the roster, they had the talent to achieve the goals being set forth. We're being picked to go to Super Bowls for crying out loud. Like, it wasn't just the Jets fans that were freaking speaking hyperbole. The masses that does do this for a living were looking at this team, looking at this roster, looking at the talent, and telling us as well, yeah, nah, y'all got some dogs in that freaking room. And the roster matches up well against everybody. So I think that's the most frustrating part is that the hope and the expectations were aligned, but the production that we're getting is significantly lacking. They just have just been playing possum. Greg, to make it more exciting, I mean, I guess it'll be a much more fun NFL story, right? If Devontae Adams comes back, Hassan Reddick ends the holdout, and now the run begins. They just go 10-0. They go freaking what? That'll be 12-5, securing a wild. Actually, I think 12-5 win the AFC East. The Jets win out, I think they'll win the AFC East. I don't think the Buffalo Bills are winning out. The back end of their schedule becomes a gauntlet. That means we would have beaten them as well and split with them. We sweep the Miami Dolphins, sweep the pay. If they go 10-0, that would be in my opinion for the AFC East, and that would be one hell of a story. I mean, I think we're all gonna watch that freaking one Jets drive when it comes out because that would be an elite freaking story. So hey, maybe Greg, maybe they're just playing with us. Maybe they're just playing with us, and they're about to show us what they're really about come this Sunday. And now that Hassan is here, the story, the script, all the pieces to the script are finally here. They can go ahead and start following the script now to go ahead and go undefeated for the rest of the season. I hope that's exactly what we've been waiting for, and that's what they actually dish out for us. Will, and my take would be yes. Will Hassan make an immediate impact? I don't know. I don't know. This is why I don't know. I don't know if Hassan Reddick, what we saw towards the back end of the season last year, is who he is now. And he saw the writing on the wall, which is one reason why he played this holdout that made no sense at all to his career and his potential earnings. The tape told me last year in the back end of that season where he kind of went ghost, went silent, that he was losing it. losing the step. You know what I'm saying? Like again, this is a guy who's 30 years old and he's a speed rusher. Um, and the speed goes, man. I think right now Tyreek Hill got us fooled, thinking like, oh, speed can last, right? And Derrick Henry right now is doing some incredible things too. But in all actuality, these speed guys, first thing that usually goes is their speed. They start to lose a step. So I'm not sure what version of Hassan Reddick we're getting. Now, if we're getting the Hassan Reddick that has been a force, a freak of nature over the last several years, who's been able to demolish offensive lines, we are going up against a slew of weaker offensive lines on the back end of the season. So yes, he may be an immediate impact, but is he in game shape? Is he game ready? Are we going to risk him getting hurt right now, trying to go ahead and do too much when we're probably going to need him more so down the line? We go on a stretch right now of 5 wins. He gets hurt, puts us in a bad situation. We're very thin when it comes to the edge. The defensive line is not as good as what was. Joe D getting rid of JFM, I think, was just dumb. He's balling out right now for Denver. I'm still pissed off about it, but I think it all depends on which Hassan that we do get, man. I'm hoping that, you know what I'm saying, it's the former, the good Hassan Reddick that can go ahead and make life a living hell for individuals, and not the guy we saw for the last 6 games of the season last year. Just right up there. All right, man. We've already gone over the hour mark, but you guys are now starting to kick in a lot of questions. All right. Does this hurt Rodgers' legacy? Listen, yeah. Yeah, no, I think it does. And people will say it's the Jets. No, but think about it. He left the Green Bay Packers, gave us a discount to come here, told us how great our team was, and then proceeded to go ahead and kind of implement and enforce his will on what the team looks like. And then when that didn't work out because of his injury, you know what I'm saying, not his fault, we go into the second year, and we go out and get his boy Devontae Adams, who kind of made a scene, right, to leave Oakland to come here and be a part of this experience to go ahead and get a championship. I think if Aaron Rodgers doesn't take the New York Jets to at at least a divisional round playoffs, it impacts his legacy. Uh, if we don't make the playoffs or if we don't have a winning season, like it's going to impact his legacy. Too much was done, too much was invested, too much was brought in because of who he is as a player and what he told us we were going to be getting, and the fact that we accommodated him and brought along a lot of his buddies as well. I think all that's going to play a role into what the optics look like. And don't forget, he's one of the most polarizing players in all of sports, right? You either hate him or you love him. And I think this would be another one of those reasons why the reporters that do hate him tend to go ahead and kind of like latch on to how he came in here, self-destructed, got a coach fired, whatever they want to use, right? I think a negative output of him being a Jet can impact his legacy, because you got to remember, the things people remember the most is the most recent stuff. What happens last is what's most recent in memory, and I think they'll utilize that more so to kind of impact, you know what I'm saying, the greatness that was Aaron Rodgers. So I think a lot's on the line for him. And I think he knows that too. I think he knew that when he came here, a lot was on the line for him, especially when he started talking about getting Super Bowls for us and stuff like that. You can't come to New York and say that shit, man, and not at least come close to backing it up, especially after we saw Tom Brady do it, saw Peyton Manning do it. I think he thought he could do it too, because it was very, very similar situations of the defense being here, the running game being here, and that he could be the missing piece to the offense to go ahead and get him over the top. You have him in that conversation of Tom Brady, conversation of Peyton Manning in terms of individual achievements for the quarterback position. And I think this impacts that a little bit. So, yeah, I do think that it does hurt his legacy. I think those who love him are going to still love him. You know what I'm saying? And those who hate him are just going to utilize this to go ahead and sprinkle more hate on and tarnish his legacy. All right. Let me see. Amy writes, Gunny, we appreciate your content. I feel like Jordan Travis has a Lamar vibe once A-Rod goes. Thoughts. Again, appreciate the super chat, Amy. Good looking out. And thank you for being here, man. I'm on literally like since Sunday night. I was like, man, this is gonna suck. What am I gonna talk about? This team is sapped the energy in my very soul. But then I realized, like, I'm not really doing it for them. I'm doing it to chop it up with you guys and just talk about this football, whether it's good or bad, and how we're feeling. So Jordan Travis, I love that pick. I really love that pick when he was drafted. I don't care what people tell me, man. I think that had he stayed healthy, gone into the playoffs, he was going to be a second round pick. If he took his team to the champion, he was going to be able to work his way into being a first round pick. Call me a fool for believing that, but at the end of the day, you see guys like Drake May who made it into the first round that really played in the mid conference and did mid things. He didn't win no championships. He did mid things, but people liked what he brought to the table in terms of his size, his arm talent, etc. A guy like freaking Jordan Travis, who I think can do it all. He can throw the ball. He can run. He's been through adversity. You've heard great things about his leadership. Guy has a high IQ. He's played in different offensive schemes and has found ways to be successful in all of them. He put a whole team on his back and took him undefeated. Unfortunately, when he got hurt, they still didn't feel like the team was worthy of going to the playoffs. He's a difference maker. He's a difference maker. My thoughts on him is if he's healthy, once he's healthy, and he starts taking some snaps, it would not shock me in the least bit if you've got him out there playing next season, like in training camp, and he's competing for the spot with somebody we bring in, somebody we draft. If Aaron Rodgers decides to leave for any reason, I think he could make some noise. I do. This is a kid who's been doubted on so many times in his life, and he's come out the other side of it, bigger, better, stronger, and more successful. You don't bet against those dudes. You just don't. Like, those are the kind of cats you just don't bet against. And I think that Jordan Travis we might have the quarterback of the future on our roster right now. We just haven't had a chance to see it because of the injury. The quarterback group coming out for next year looks pretty mid. I'm not a fan of anybody thus far, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself. But I think Jordan Travis, man, he's got special qualities. He's got intangibles you can't teach. And the boy got some wheels on him. He can run the ball. He's fearless. Now, the injury, how it impacts his, like, I guess you can say his speed, his legs, like his mobility, that's going to be something we got to take a look at. It looked like he's healing very, very well. But those kind of injuries, you never know how you bounce back. So, but I'm with you. I think that he's a stud. He does give you Lamar vibes. I mean, Lamar is definitely more of an elite athlete, an elite freaking mobile quarterback. I think he has a stronger arm than a Jordan Travis, but you could see some of those exciting kind of plays being doled out once he gets healthy and he gets his opportunity. So I'm excited to go ahead and see Jordan Travis specifically next year in some training camp to kind of see what we got there. All right. And I believe that's going to be the last one of the night. Make sure I don't miss any other super chats. All right, cool. So, I mean, I appreciate you guys for just hanging out, man. I know usually it's only an hour, but there was a lot to unpack here. The Jets play the freaking Patriots on Sunday, and we need this win. There's no offense about it. We need this win. We can't lose this game. Can't lose it. I know I said that we can lose 2 more games officially before, like, we're really out of the conversation of making the playoffs. But if you lose to the Patriots this week, you might as well just go ahead and call it a night. Just call it a night. Like, it's a wrap. At this point, I don't know what you do. I don't know if you strip what you've got right now, recoup some freaking assets. I don't know if Joe D gets fired. I do know if we don't make the playoffs, no way Ulbricht's going to be the coach next year. I'm hoping, you bring in a guy like a Ben Johnson or some people are big on Vrabel. Like, I'm really over the defensive minded coaches, man. I just want an offensive minded guy in this building. The defensive thing hasn't worked in quite some time. Only 2 head coaches that are defensive minded head coaches have won Super Bowls in the last 20 plus years. The NFL has changed dramatically, and I think a guy like Ben Johnson is just like he's just made for the league. He's made for the NFL, what it is now. So, yeah, man, I hope that the New York Jets ball out right now and they get into the playoffs and make some noise. But again, I think we got to see it. At some point, our belief is cool and all, but they got to show it to us. So I appreciate you. Oh, wait, quick shout out to my boy Phil Adams. I want to say thank you, man. This arrived in the mail today. So Phil was in London at the game, and he sent me this freaking awesome ass towel, man. Look at this thing. This thing is clean as hell. So Phil, I appreciate you, man. This arrived in the mail today. Right now, I've got it pretty much here on top of my screen, but I'm going to find a spot to put it up on the wall, man, because this is pretty cool. It's pretty dope. So I appreciate that, man. Straight from London. So that's pretty awesome. I want to make sure I said thank you. But yeah, what it boils down to is simple. Jets got to go ahead and win this week. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It starts this week. I'm with you guys. At the end of the day, if they don't win this game, I'm sorry, man. I think the season's a wrap. I think the season's a wrap. I'm not saying they can't. They can lose 2 more games. It just can't be to the Patriots, right? It can't be to the Patriots. That's the team you've got to go ahead and get one of your dubs. So one of those next 10 dubs that you're gonna need, and hopefully they go ahead and show up into Gillette Stadium and they just smack them around. That's the hope. But yeah, that's it. I'll be dropping the video for my predictions, the Patriots versus Jets or Jets versus Patriots on Friday. And then I might be doing a show with Mike the Stat Guy on some film review in regards to what we saw this past week. I'm waiting to get a feel for him and his schedule. But hey, go Jets. You guys are sick. You guys are all here, you know what I'm saying, still talking about this with me. It's late. I know it's going on 10 o'clock on the East Coast, and we're still here talking about this team, just hoping for the best. And again, this is, I think, what makes this fun for content creators, because we're fans just like y'all, and having to wake up and get in front of a camera and a microphone and talk about this team when they do us the way they've done us the last several years, especially like a game like on Sunday, that shit sucked, man. It sucked. But y'all make this thing fun, man. I guess it's therapy, right? It's just therapy. But yeah, I'm with you, Miguel. This, you know what I'm saying? Again, next Tuesday, gonna talk about how the Jets win and the Yankees will be up 2-0, man. And that would be a great week. Great week going into the next. That would be awesome. So again, I appreciate y'all, man, for chopping it up with me. Thank you guys. Have a good night. I mean, and as always, man, let's be honest. We're always gonna be that fan base, man. Go Jets.
I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man.
Congratulations, brother.
Wow, get out the way, get out the way, get out the way, yeah. Get out the way, get the up on my way, yeah. You either with me or against me, though. You either with me or win. Curve everything else. Win. These ops ain't lit. Win. Start chasing that chip.